we are very similar to elephants socially. There are a couple of developmental differences between us. One, humans have a 9-month gestation versus 22 months gestation in elephants. Humans are born at about 7 pounds versus 250 pounds. And it takes us 12 months to first steps, whereas elephants basically are born to run, hours till running, and 3 to 5 months to rumble. And for humans, it takes about 2 years. So there are those differences. But otherwise, elephants live in tight-knit families. They live within matriarchal extended family groups with a matriarch that leads the way. Now, elephant calves are born into these tight-knit families where the first individual they know and bond with is their mother. So mom is the center of the universe. And up until the age of 1 year old, this baby will fit under mom and often will go underneath mom for protection. Now, once a calf is able to walk, it's soon introduced to the extended family, which can be a very exciting event. But in these events, you will see that just like there's human politics within and between families, elephants have a pecking order within extended families. And you can see the lower ranking family with this blue arrow is heading towards the low quality water in the pan versus the high ranking family is going to head towards the source of the spring. These things have already been worked out ahead of time to minimize conflict over access to this very important resource, water. So high-ranking families head towards the source. As you can see, this big group in the foreground, and then the low-ranking families head to the shallow pan. Coming to the water hole for a drink provides the elephants with the opportunity to socialize. And this is a very exciting time, especially if there's a baby. So in this situation, the female is introducing her new baby to her mother, who is on the left. And this can be a very vocal time. The ears are flapping, they're rumbling, they're also urinating and defecating, which is a huge jubilant response for elephants. That's a little bit different than ours, but that's, and also you can see this, this black streak on the cheek of the elephant on the right. That's streaming from their temporal gland, which shows heightened excitement. Now, no family reunion would be complete without having a mud bath together. And this is, again, a very exciting time, especially for the little ones. They've been, 24 hours or longer out in the hot, dusty sun, and coming in and playing together in the mud is a very exciting time for them. And sunset is a favorite time. They feel more comfortable moving in the late afternoon to nighttime, and that's probably due to weather, less windy conditions and better conditions for long distance transmission of sound. So the females tend to be more active anywhere from 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon into the night. After sunset, dusting is a very important aspect of elephants maintaining their skin. As they leave the water hole, they're wet, so they dust and then move into the forest. And that dry dust, then they rub off against trees, and that helps rub parasites off. The dust also helps protect their skin from the sun. Now, just like humans, the character of matriarchs can define the mood of the group. So you can have an individual who's very calm and just comes to inspect something new in the environment, or you can have a matriarch that charges first and asks questions later. And that really does affect the confidence of the rest of the group based on how their leader responds to a change in the environment. And just again, as the case with humans, environmental influences affect their social behavior, where individual families, if they're low ranking, they might have to wait at the edge of the clearing of the water hole for hours until it's safe for them to come forward. Or if they're a dominant family like this family, the scimitars, they'll come barreling in and then push out another family so that they can drink. So there's a lot of politics that go on at the waterhole. And then, of course, there's politics within families. So high-ranking females, the calves of those individuals, we have observed that they have social privileges. So they're given leeway, they can run farther away from mom and get themselves into trouble without being reprimanded as a lower ranking individual does. So this is very similar to our society. Now, high-ranking calves can also, if they approach a low-ranking individual, their mothers could stop them from interacting with a low-ranking individual. And this is not something that people normally think about in elephants. And we think that it's partly because our population is a desert population, and so water is at a premium. And we think that we're seeing different cultural uh, changes based on this very, very restricted environment, such that the high-ranking individuals are more defined than they are in groups where resources are ubiquitous. So we're seeing these very distinctive treatment towards the calves of lower-ranking moms. And why we think that is the case is because a family group has to stay very small when resources are limited. And so we think that the low-ranking individuals are being pushed out of the family to start their own family, because the matriarch of the larger family, it's really hard to move through the environment and feed that many more individuals. So we're measuring this behaviorally and showing that there's this harsh decision that families have to make as to who gets to stay and who gets cut. But within the family, daughters, cousins, sisters, they stay together for life, and they become moms together, they raise their young together, they become grandmothers, they become great-great-grandmothers. And for males, this could also be the case once they leave their family as teens. They could meet up in the future and become very bonded for life after having been raised in a family together. Now, just as it is for us, ritual greetings are very important to elephants, and they're also learned at a very young age. So ritual greetings evolved in elephants from the concept of having to learn what's safe to eat from others. So younger individuals will approach older individuals that are eating, place their trunk in their mouth, and learn, okay, that food is safe to eat. Well, that simple behavior has been ritualized into this greeting, what's called a trunk to mouth greeting, where the one individual approaches another and places their very delicate trunk in the mouth of another, which obviously is the sign of trust between those individuals. So greetings can take the form of a reverent salute for one individual that is particularly attractive to others. The young bulls, when they see this older individual, they get very excited and they want to quickly place their trunk in his mouth first, whereas elders need to wait in line and place their trunk in the mouth and then step back, and then the next one comes along and places the trunk in the mouth. Very similar to our kissing of the ring in leaders. So it's kind of fascinating how very similar our rituals are. Now, teamwork is important to elephants. This is a young matriarch showing very young females how to extract a calf who is stuck in the well. Now, this teamwork requires a lot of coordination. If two individuals are not that coordinated, as you saw on the last slide, that young female pretty much showed the rest of them how to do this. Whereas when there's two very coordinated individuals, like Big Mama on the left and her daughter Nandi, they don't have to organize, they don't have to coordinate, they just do it. They get down on their knees and get that individual to safety. And that takes a lot of relationship building in the background in order for that to happen. Now, then there's other creative solutions where this little preemie, she was born a little premature, she's very wobbly, gets to the water hole, sees everyone else placing their trunk in the water, really curious, so she starts to explore this. And sure enough, she falls in with mom's trunk right there. Um, Constant oversight, sees that her little baby female calf has fallen into the water. And these calves are so heavy, they're very dense. So it's a risky time for these little newborns. And so mom doesn't want to take her trunk and lift her out of the water because she's worried about how fragile this baby is. So she comes up with a really unique solution that I had never seen before. She starts blowing bubbles underneath the baby in order to raise her to the surface so that she can scoop her out. And that's exactly what she does. She floats her up and then she's able to pull her out to safety. Now, there's many rituals surrounding other aspects of life, and one of them that's very important to young elephants is play. And play has a ritual invitation where an individual places their trunk over or on top of the head of the other individual. Now, later in life, this could be also a sign of dominance, but at this age or when two males are playing, this is also, come on, let's play. I'm going to put my trunk on your head. Now, this play for these youngsters also can involve the oversight of an older sister sometimes, usually around a 6-year-old. She'll be watching out for these little play bouts and making sure that they don't get too rough, because their favorite thing to do is pig pile, as you can see here. Now, as the males get older, these invitations are similar, placing the trunk over the head, but they get more intense. The play bouts are much more intense, much more forceful, until even later, when two older bulls get together, and they're bonded, they will have this kind of gentle sparring back and forth, which is a very bonded behavior. And very different than the combat that I'll show you later on. And it's also very similar to our own jousting or martial arts. Now, hormones and the coming of age itch is very evident for young males. They take risks much more and much earlier than females. Females tend to stay much closer to mom and to other family members, whereas the little males want to go out and just explore the world, and that can get them into trouble because they can't resist chasing everything that they can in the environment, and that continues for some time, and even to the point of passing along this bad habit to a baby brother, as is the case here. With Leo and Liam teaching his baby brother how to chase a giraffe because it's a fun game for them. Now, these young bulls become kind of problematic for moms when they just have a new baby. This is Liza, a new baby, and mom Winona has had enough of her older brother's attentions because they could become dangerous. He places his whole heavy trunk on top of her. Even though he's teasing, he's excited to have her in the family. Mom thinks he's just a little too attentive, and it's time to give him a big trunk slap to stay away from baby.